Acceptance of responsibility is one of the most important tools of discipline described by Dr. M. Scott Peck in The Road Less Traveled. Peck argues that emotional and spiritual growth is impossible without accepting responsibility for our lives. Responsibility is not about blaming ourselves for everything that happens, but about recognizing our role in how we think, choose, and respond to reality. Without responsibility, people remain trapped in immaturity, blaming the world rather than growing within it. According to Peck, accepting responsibility means acknowledging that our choices shape our lives. Life presents challenges, pain, and uncertainty, but how we respond to these experiences is our responsibility. When people refuse this truth, they often search for someone or something to blame. Peck explains that this avoidance of responsibility may feel comfortable in the short term, but it leads to long-term psychological and emotional suffering. Many people resist responsibility because it brings discomfort. Accepting responsibility means admitting mistakes, facing guilt, and tolerating emotional pain. Blame feels easier because it allows people to escape this discomfort. Peck emphasizes that avoiding responsibility does not remove pain. It simply postpones it. Discipline requires the courage to face problems directly instead of avoiding them. Peck places acceptance of responsibility as a central tool of discipline because it allows people to confront reality honestly. When individuals accept responsibility, problems become manageable. Instead of asking who is at fault, disciplined people ask what must be done. This shift marks the transition from emotional childhood to emotional adulthood. Peck explains that disorders of responsibility generally appear in two forms: neurosis and character disorder. These two conditions represent opposite extremes in how people relate to responsibility. Understanding this distinction is crucial to understanding human behavior and mental health. Neurotic individuals take too much responsibility. They assume blame even when it does not belong to them. Neurotics often feel excessive guilt, anxiety, or self-doubt. They internalize problems and believe they are responsible for events, emotions, or failures that are outside their control. Their suffering is largely internal, marked by tension and inner conflict. Peck notes that neurotic people often sense that something is wrong within themselves. Because they already accept responsibility, sometimes excessively, they are usually capable of growth. When neurotics learn to place responsibility correctly, rather than abandoning it altogether, their emotional health often improves. This is why neurosis is considered more treatable than character disorder. Character disordered individuals, on the other hand, take too little responsibility. They consistently refuse to accept responsibility for their actions and choices. Instead, they project blame outward, seeing others, society, or circumstances as the cause of their problems. Unlike neurotics, they experience little inner conflict because responsibility is denied rather than misdirected. Peck explains that character disordered individuals often view themselves as victims. They resist self-examination and avoid guilt. Their suffering is often inflicted on others rather than felt internally. Because they do not acknowledge responsibility, growth becomes extremely difficult. Therapy and correction often fail because the individual sees no need to change. The key difference between neurosis and character disorder lies in awareness and responsibility. Neurosis involves an internal struggle with responsibility, while character disorder involves a refusal of it. Neurotics suffer because they care too much. Character disordered individuals cause suffering because they care too little. Peck emphasizes that emotional maturity requires a balanced and honest acceptance of responsibility. Peck makes a powerful point that accepting responsibility is not a burden but a form of freedom. When people accept responsibility, they gain the power to change their lives. Blame keeps people stuck. Responsibility moves them forward. Growth begins when individuals stop asking who is at fault and start asking what they can do. Ultimately, acceptance of responsibility is a turning point on the road less traveled. It separates growth from stagnation, maturity from avoidance, and freedom from blame. By accepting responsibility wisely, not too much and not too little, we step onto a path that leads to emotional strength, spiritual growth, and a meaningful life.